yes, this is the problem, we want to fix this problem. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to help you in your business. I brought all the leaders. Said, so I'm going to present something. I want you to review and validate whether it makes sense. Because I don't know. I'm a consultant. I don't know what is right. Now, the moment I showed this to the leaders of these 5 steps, the leaders were like, wow, we didn't even know that this is a big system. Hi, this is JP here. Welcome back to the weekend video series of LeanWisdom. This story, what I'm going to share now, is a fantastic, very beautiful transformation story that I truly enjoyed. Right? And this is a bit long story, so I'm going to split this into multiple parts, maybe 3 or 4 small videos, right? So that you get to understand every small bit that we tried to do and how we made it, right? Very successful. Yeah. So this was for a large enterprise, right? In Bangalore alone, they have like 10,000 plus people working here. And way back in 2019, one fine day, the head of LACE, right? Lean Agile Center of Excellence, he called me and said, "Hey JP, there is one leader, right? Of a specific department wants to talk to somebody here in our group, and he's already made up his mind that he wants to implement SAFe." Right? I said, "Oh really? Somebody's made a decision without even meeting us." Okay, that means the person either heard from somebody or maybe has done some homework. He has made a decision, right? And the head of LACE, he asked me to go meet this leader. I said, sure. Right? I went and met this leader. There was 3-4 leaders were there when I met them, and they said, "GP, we want to implement SAFe. Can you help us?" So he said, "We have a predictability issue. It's 2-3 years since we are building a product, and we have a predictability issue, and we have a quality issue." Right? When I say quality issue, we have issues. Customer escalations, right, comes very often. We have issues in terms of release time to market, right? We are releasing once in a year or so. We are not able to release faster to the market. Okay, and what else? Customer satisfaction index is low. The leadership is not happy. The teams are working over the weekends just before the release. Nobody is happy, right? I said, great. Okay, can you listen to me for 4 hours? And I want to run a kind of a workshop, a SAFe workshop with you, kind of things for executives, and understand what is SAFe, and then let's make a decision. Let's continue, right? They agreed. November 2019, we did a SAFe for executives workshop. It went for 6 hours, a lot of discussions, right? And I could sense that they have a serious problem. Okay, in that. It is also for me to understand how deep is the problem. And end of that 4-6 hours, they said, yeah, I think SAFe will work for us. Great. Then I asked them, can you bring your extended leadership and let us do a leading SAFe workshop sometime? Because your extended leadership also should understand this, because we're going to implement a transformation. We're going to do a transformation for a large group of people, right? It's not small. And they agreed for it. Sometime in December 2019, we did leading SAFe workshop, right? And it was filled with people and a lot of energy flowing. And every time I taught a SAFe principle, and they stopped and said, yeah, this is the problem. Yes, this is the problem, we want to fix this problem, right? And we want to eliminate these kind of problems. End of 2 days, I asked the leaders, guys, where are you? They said, we are super convinced that SAFe will solve our problem. I said, great, go for a vacation, Christmas vacation and New Year, please come back, and then let's connect and then take a decision. They went back. They went for a vacation, came back, and then they had a meeting with the leadership, in Europe, and they came back sometime mid of Jan. JP, I think we also convinced the leaders of our department in our head office, and they said, go ahead, right? I think it's time for us to go ahead and launch SAFe. I said, great, okay. Then they asked me, what is the next step? I said, let's do a value stream workshop. Right? We want to understand the end-to-end value stream and where to start your transformation. And the first workshop, I conducted the first value stream workshop. All the leaders who attended the training, plus one more leader whom I have not met, who joined this meeting. Okay, he is one of the very senior leaders. He joined the meeting. In less than 5-10 minutes, he made a very strong statement saying that agile way of working and things like that, this is the way you guys make money. I said, wow. Oh really? Right? Then I understood that this leader is not aligned with this. And I've never met him. And suddenly, all of a sudden, one fine day, he came to this meeting. So I told him, sir, you don't know what these people have gone through. They have spent a lot of time, 2 days with me, and then half a day before that, and 2 days, and they have digested. Now, since you were not there, maybe you don't understand. By the way, I believe in karma, and I am professional, I am ethical. I am not here to make money, right? I am here to help you in your business, right? If you think it doesn't make sense, we should make a decision and then move on. Because you know what? Don't spend any money on anything if you think it will not work, right? Because you're the leaders, right? I had to make that statement not out of ego, right? It is out of the professionalism that I want to maintain, number one. Number two, I wanted these leaders to get convinced, not me to convince them, right? If the leaders get convinced, half of the journey is done. They will take care of it, right? The sustainability will happen. Even after I move out, they will sustain. If it is if it is a monkey in my bag, the day I move out, they will go back to their old way of working, and it won't be a fun looking back. After a few years, if you look at them, it won't be fun, right? So I told them, you decide. Another senior leader who was with me in the leading SAFE and SAFE for executives workshop, he jumped into this, right? And in this conversation and said, hey Mark, don't worry, maybe you don't understand this because you didn't attend this session. We all are super convinced that SAFE will help us, right? I want you to watch this whole thing, Mark, right? Be with us, right? And I told the leader also that, see, if you want me to connect with you one-on-one, I can spend time with you to help you understand what kind of a result that, scaling Agile can bring it to you. Today you are more waterfallish, right? Then the leader decided to step back and said, okay, guys, I'm not here to kill all your initiative, but it is my view, I just shared it, let me watch, right? He started watching, right? We started a value stream workshop now. Value stream workshop is typically there are 5 steps, right? Operational value stream, identify the systems that are used in operational value stream, then identify the people who are building this system, then the next one is which are the development value stream, which have to work together, collaborate together, right? And then finally identify an arc that you want to launch. We never want to implement a SAFE 1,000 people at one shot, right? We want to go start with one, test the water. So to identify which is the right arc, we have to do these steps, right? It's a very, very structured way of doing it, right? I proposed this, they said yes. We started identifying operational value streams. So we had to get leaders on the operational value stream side, and then a couple of meetings. And then we started identifying the systems. There are so many systems. So this is an electric vehicle charging system. So it is not just one product. It's a large ecosystem, right? Say for example, if you need to implement in a bus, right? It's like the whole bus transport corporation, right? The transport corporation has to change. Their bus depots have to be, all the bus depots have to be supporting the electric vehicle charging, right? And the buses have to be electric vehicle charging, right? And the bus stops should have this ecosystem. So it's a large system, and it has got hardware, firmware, software. So when we did this value stream workshop, trust me, it took 12 meetings at least, 12 or 13 meetings for us to identify one arc to launch. We had at least 10, 12 arcs that we can launch easily here, and which one to launch, right? We spent this time in the middle of some discussions, right? One of the leaders was saying that, hey, there is one type of charger is being built in Canada, right? But I think I know this leader, let me talk to him. They did not know the end-to-end flow, really, right? They were all in their boxes and they were doing their job, right? Nothing wrong in it. But nobody was looking at the flow of value. When customer comes here, places an order, the value goes out here. There are quite a few teams working together. It's a hardware, it's a firmware, it's a software, it's a third-party applications like SAP integration, right? All of these kind of systems, and there are systems that are inbuilt, right? By this company, and that are used here in the system. Quite a few things, right? So all need to be integrated for it to deliver value. And the solution is also that customer can take only hardware solution or a software solution or a combination of both together. All these were possible. So it's complex. So it took 12 meetings to identify a value stream. Now, end of the 12th meeting, I brought all the leaders, right? And I said, so I'm going to present something. I want you to review and validate whether it makes sense. Because I don't know. I'm a consultant. I don't know what is right. I just worked with multiple leaders and I put one big picture. Now, the moment I showed this to the leaders of these 5 steps, the leaders were like, wow, we didn't even know that this is such a big system, right? The leader who actually made a statement that you guys make money out of this, he was also in that system, like in that meeting. He said, "Hey JP, I want to share my comment." I said, "Yeah, please go ahead, right? I want to hear your views." He said, "I have always looked at my organization as a hierarchy, reporting structure, right? This person reports to this person and to this person and to this person. This is how we have seen organizations, right, as pyramids. But I have never seen an organization as a flow of value organization, right? This is fantastic, JP. I've been in this company for 2 decades, but I never saw a flow like this, right? You have given me a very good view, right? This tells me that I think we are addressing the problem." I was like, wow, right? Internally, I was like super happy, because this is an intrinsic motivation for a consultant, right? It's very important that the leaders are convinced and you do a right job to make them understand. This leader was convinced. After that, throughout the journey, was supportive. In PA planning, he was talking, in system demos, he was talking to brought the customers. This leader is from the business side of it, and he was like super excited, right? So I have seen leaders who actually support from day one, right? I shared about a Chinese transformation, right, a couple of videos back. There, I would have spoken about the second leader who was like, was listening to me for everything. Whatever I say, he will say, yes, I will do, right? I had a different problem with that leader. I had to tell him that, boss, you question me, right? Don't just blindly believe, right? You have to question me, right? That's the kind of leader I've seen. But this leader, he was against the whole thing in the beginning. But when we did a whole value stream workshop, and when we identified an hour to launch, because that was the bottleneck in the whole flow, he was like, wow, right? I'm seeing end-to-end a systems view, and we see a bottleneck here, and this is where we need to launch. This was a great, a great journey that we started with, right? So as I said, I'm going to release multiple videos on this. Let me stop here. The message that I want to share here is, right, start with your leadership. When the leadership's convinced, your whole transformation will go smooth. Do whatever required to do the right thing, right? Many times I see when you implement, say, if we directly go to an ARC launch and say, let's launch this ARC, it doesn't work so well, because that may not be the critical ARC to launch, right? You may need to launch an ARC, which is maybe the previous one, because that's a bottleneck in the whole system, right? So principle 2, apply systems thinking. You have to apply as a consultant to view the end-to-end system and identify your ARC launch. Hope this video was helpful, and have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.